Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to be showing you a whole bunch of new tips and tricks I have found playing the new Outlaw game mode. This has recently come with the new Desert Biome update for Yeeps 2.0 and can be found in Outlaw Oasis. So, before we get into it, why should you trust me over others into giving you Outlaw tips? Well, firstly, I've currently played around about that many games of Outlaw. I'm currently going for that badge, and I'm already on one of the best competitive teams. Well, we think it's one of the best for Outlaw. So anyway, let's get on to it. Alright, so this is Outlaw Oasis, as you can see here. Absolutely really big map, really cool. I gotta be honest, before we get into this, the buildings on this look amazing. I mean, this entire map looks incredible, so whoever worked onto this, really well done if you're watching this video. But anyway, the first tip I have is actually for Bounty Hunter. I'm currently Outlaw right now, so I can't really show you that well. But a good tip is remembering where all the team health packs are for the Bounty Hunter. So a couple of good ones are there's two here, right at the very spawn area. There's one right by here, just a tiny bit from the spawn area. This is great if at the start of the round, if you need very quick stuffing to pull out butt joes or anything like that. You can grab those two, jump up here, and grab this one by here to get all your stuffing back. Another one, which is also really good, is this one right by here. This is, as you can see, near to the spawn on this house by here. This is great if you're chasing the Outlaw and you just need a little bit more stuffing. Grab this right here, and then you have 2,000 more. And finally, one of the most important ones, if you come to the wealthy district, where the prison is, past this house, and come here, there is 4,000 stuffing laying right by here. So if, for example, the Outlaw is playing around this area, this can be a great place to go and grab, and you have a lot of escape routes being out here, through the windows, or even up and out through here into the Outlaw district. The next tip I'd like to give is for both Outlaws and Bounty Hunters, and it's understanding how deadly this corner can be right here. I like to call this the corner of doom, because if people get launched into here, it's very easy to camp almost all the exits. So for example, here you can camp. You can also camp here, which also gives you access to this as well to get more stuffing. And you can also hit people up and get them stuck on this cactus in the corner, which, as you can see, sometimes you can get stuck on it for quite a while. There's not really many other routes, and you know, you could argue you can go up here, but when you're constantly being hit backwards into this cactus, it can be very difficult to escape this corner. So if you're the Outlaw, I would recommend trying to play, not play in this corner, sorry. And if you're the Bounty Hunter, I would recommend trying, if you can, for example with butt joes, if they're playing around here, to knock them in that direction to try and get them stuck around in this corner, where you can combo them and hopefully try and kill them. Another tip I have for the Bounty Hunters, and a little bit for the Outlaw as well, is understanding how important this health pack is. This health pack is the only way the Outlaw can ever gain stuffing. So, for example, if I throw out the butt joes here, as you've probably seen before, these are team barriers, not team barriers, sorry, team stuffing packs, and as you probably saw before, I can't pick them up. So the only way I can gain back stuffing is by using this by here and picking up loot that people might have dropped. So a lot of the time the Outlaw might want to be playing around this area to try and pick this up. So you need to kind of learn when they're trying to go for this and when to camp it. What I mean by camping is basically either sitting here with butt joes ready to get them, or just by constantly picking this up so we can't get it. It's very good to understand when to camp this and when to pressure. For example, let's say with me, my fit is usually this, or when I'm running, I usually have the bomb instead. If they're, for example, over here, let's say they're like really low on stuffing over by here, it's very difficult for them to get there. I mean, unless they do a really good bomb ride all the way over to there. So you won't really need to worry about camping this. However, if the Outlaw, for example, is here, and they're quite low on stuffing, they will probably most likely want to go for that. And they have a lot of different routes to get there. remember that, for example, if you're playing butt joes, it's very difficult to hit someone when there's obviously someone like this in the way. So they might want to, for example, if they're here, might want to run here, try and go around, and then try and grab like that. Or they might want to even, I don't know, jump over, grab like that. Or even, for example, they might want to just run straight towards it without any kind of sort of juke. It's very difficult to learn when to camp this and when to pressure, but after playing enough rounds, you'll be able to understand when and how to do both. This next tip is for bounty hunters only. Well, it can be also used as outlaw, but in very, very random cases. And it's how to get through this gate without waiting for this button and this 30-second timer here. Basically, this is a pretty simple strategy and can get very consistent. What you want to do is you want to grab a portable, aim towards the middle of the gate, for example, here to here, as these are bars on either side. So you want to aim more for the middle, launch forward, and throw your portable into the gate and a little bit more down. Oh, we have to wait for the gate to open. As you can see here, if I get this first try, you clip straight through the gate and end up on the other side. And if people are in there, open up the gate to let them out. Really useful strategy if you want to try and fight the outlaw a lot quicker, and obviously much better than have to wait out 30 seconds. This is another tip for the outlaw. If you're ever insanely low on stuffing and want a very risky route to do, this one is a super duper risky but a good route to also get you some stuffing if you need it. If you can have a look at that building over there, there is a brown pillow. What you can do is come along on this zip line, launch into the house here, grab both of these, jump out off of this quartz slab and onto the bridge. It's a very difficult route to do, but if you need the extra bit of stuffing, it can be a very quick and good route to get people off you and get a little bit more stuffing, which can look like this and quick. Grab those, and then you can either jump out here or jump out the other way, like I said before. Another tip for outlaw, and this one is very, very situational, but if someone is very good with butt joes and they don't have any in their hand, and you want a way to try and fight them by using, for example, bats or other stuff you just hold in your hands, what you can do is actually run into the store, because that gets rid of people's bubbles. So unless they are holding stuff in their hands, they can't actually pull anything out here, and also it causes them a little bit of a lag spike as well, which might mess them up. Same goes to the cosmetic stand. You can also just have no bubbles in here, so this can be a great way if people are using butt joes to try and run around here and plan your escape onto the bridge, for example, and out, as they can't really ramp butt joes here until they get all the way up here and wait for them to respawn. And also, you gotta be very careful with this though, because it shows your butt coin value, it stays there for a little while before you can see your cotton value again, as you can see. So make sure that your cotton value is quite high before you do that, just so you don't die, obviously. Another tip for bounty hunter, this one again is quite situational, but if you're a good butt joe player, like I am, and you're chasing outlaw on a zip line, because of the velocity you get on zip lines, your butt joes actually usually travel in a more straighter direction. For example, if an outlaw is coming here and jumping like this to try and get onto the side or onto this zip line, what you can do as the bounty hunter is when you're going on the zip line, chasing the outlaw, you can pull out the butt joe and throw it. As you can see, that went basically perfectly straight and can consistently get you, for example, 750 damage, or with 2, 1500, which can be a great health drainer to outlaws. Okay, this is the final hint I have, but this is for both outlaws and bounty hunters, and it's understanding how useful water can be. So, for example, with water, if you're an outlaw if someone's far away and trying to hit you with butt jokes, a good strategy might be jumping into the water and pushing hands down to get underneath, as if they're far away and have enough velocity, butt jokes will just bounce straight off the water and skip over your head. If you're a bounty hunter and you see someone in the water doing that, I wouldn't recommend trying to throw a butt jolt at them. I'd recommend trying to go underneath and smack them like that, usually into a wall, which can be very good to combo them off. Another great use for water as well is understanding how to swim really fast. So this can be both good for outlaws and bounty hunters, but I see a lot of people try and swim like this, for example, or for example like this, which ain't too bad, but they can definitely be improved. And one of those ways is by doing a good, basically instead of using shorter arms but quicker, try using longer arms but slower. So what I mean by that, instead of doing this, try and maybe bring your arms out long, like further out, but do it a little bit slower, and as you can see, you can get a lot more speed off them. This can be great for just traversing in the water, and to try and hit off walls if when needed. And also when you try and jump out of the water, remember to smack your hands down if you want to get a little jump at the end, which can be very useful. For example, if you, it's quite difficult here because of how shallow the water is, but if you want to try and get to a high location, you can, okay, that was a bad example, but you can jump from the water straight up to here and do quite a bit of bounty hunters. And for my final tip with the water, and final tip of this video, is how to use bombs in water as well. This can be done with any sort of thing. It can be bomb raided, so that would be bombs, hot cocoa, yeah, anything basically. But I'm more consistent with bombs as I'm a tap-tech player, and of course bombs are anything allowed in construction site. But if you're under the water and need a great escape, if you bomb right up, quite vertically up, by swimming up in the water and then throwing the bomb at your head, then throwing the other one at your body, you can get a great vertical and horizontal launch, which looks something like this. As you can see, that one was more of a vertical one. However, you can go more horizontal if you, for example, need to get to the zip line or just any other location on the map. So yeah, that was a whole bunch of tips for the Outlaw map. If you'd like to see any more tips, for example, for construction site or other maps, for example, campsite, as I'm a good hide and seek player as well, leave a like in this video and tell me in the comments which map I should do next. And anyway, see you guys.